I thought it was a myth. I thought it was a myth. It's not a myth. You will get sick your freshman year. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, hi, thank you for clicking on my video. So I am a rising sophomore at LMU, Loyola Marymount University in LA, and I am no longer fresh meat, so I think I am finally in a position to give some advice to incoming freshmen, because we are going back to school in like 3 weeks and maybe a month, depending on when you go back, but it's very soon. I thought I would share some freshman advice for you guys. Take it with a grain of salt. This is in no particular order. I kind of just put a whole list together of things that I kind of wish I knew going into the school year, and kind of some things that are obvious. So let's get into it. Number one, don't tell everyone your business, and you cannot trust everyone. So obviously this is something that I feel like should be common knowledge even before you get to school, but it's just so easy to like feel like you can trust these people that are going through the same thing as you, like, you know, getting adjusted to school, and like you meet all these new people, and like there's all these like big friend groups before like you break off into like those like cliques, because there's still cliques in college. College is honestly just a more expensive and more adult version of high school. So there's still cliques. But I think the one thing I've learned a lot in my freshman year, and the one thing was, do not tell everyone your business, especially when you're like in the middle of like, you're gonna have a lot of debriefs, a lot of like things where you're just with a big group of people. Do not do it. Don't. Especially if you like someone, don't do it. Do not tell everyone about who you like, because somebody will snatch your man / your girlfriend. They will. You won't. It'll be the people you expect the least. But anyway, number 2, do not spend hella money on DoorDash and like ordering food. Explore the food options on campus. Now, I know campus food is not the best. The options are limited, definitely limited at my school for sure. I can't speak for every single school, but I think that the one thing that I didn't do enough in the beginning of my freshman year, just like first semester, I was still trying to like learn, you know, everything, where everything was and all that stuff. So I only knew like the main things to eat, or like the main places. Like there's a Qdoba, and then there's like Kika, which is like our sushi bar. And then there's the main, like, the Layer, which is, like, the main cafe area. But once I kind of, like, realized that there was more options, like, there's, like, you know, you can, like, make your own salad, or just, like, get, like, a certain kind of smoothie, or, like, a yogurt bowl, or just, you know, like, mixing things together to make certain things. It's not as bad. But do not spend hella money on ordering food, because you will regret it. I did not do it, thank God. I think I only ordered food maybe like twice in my whole year. The only time I suggest ordering food is when it's like super late, and like you're getting back from a party and you guys are like starving. Because I know that the diner on my campus, it closes at like 2 a.m. on like the weekends, and sometimes you don't get back from parties until literally 2 a.m. So that's the only time I suggest it. But really explore the food options on your campus, and if not, I would say stack up on snacks and food, but that can only last you for so long. Number 3, don't buy your textbooks for class right away. Wait until you start class to see if you really need them, or ask around to see if anyone else has it. So the one thing that I realized my second semester was that some teachers do not use some of the textbooks they tell you to buy. So do not buy it until it's really honestly necessary. Like if your teacher's like, we'll be using this every day, okay, then you need to buy it. But if it's something where the teacher's like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna like have you guys like read this book later on in the year, don't buy it. Or at least try to ask around to see if anyone has it first, or see if it's online, because sometimes you can find like free audio book versions on YouTube or something like that. So don't buy your textbooks right away unless they are completely necessary and unless you're in a certain major where you know you're going to be doing a lot of reading and you're going to need it. I'm not in a major that really requires that, but I'm a film production major. So, but if you are an English major, I'm sure you would need your textbooks, but it really all depends on the teacher. Number 4, don't fall for those orientation week crushes. Do not do it, guys. Don't. We've all had our fair share of orientation week crushes. We have. It's happened to all the best of us. It's happened to me. Do not fall for them. You barely know them. I wish that I could like grab my past self by like the hair and like yank her against the wall and just tell her like, what is wrong with you? Why would you even? And you know, I cannot speak for everyone, obviously, because sometimes people really do meet the love of their life and like stay with them until the end of time. But just be careful is all I'm saying. Do not fall for someone so quickly because it happens all the time in college and you'd be surprised. You could literally fall for someone in 2 days, a day maybe. And it's just so easy to like be around them because you're on campus together all the time. Just saying. Number 5, be open to going to different campus events or like club events. You never know who you'll meet or what will come from it. Get involved. So the one thing that I'm notorious for doing is kind of getting accumulated my freshman year and not getting involved in a lot, and then when for the rest of like my 4 years, well 3 years, I get involved in like a shit ton of stuff. But the one thing that I really do like about college is that even if you're not like the president of a club or whatever the case may be, you can still help in so many different ways and get involved. And like nobody discriminates in any kind of club. Like there's ASA club, which is the African Student Association. And I didn't go to like the first few meetings because I was like, well, I don't really like identify like with my African side. I don't really know where I'm from. Like I'm just black. Like, you know, I was just like, I'll just go to like the Black Student Union ones. Like it's fine. And people would be like, no, come. Like it's fun. Like, you know, like you'll have fun. And I'm like, I don't know. Like I just don't want to like feel like I'm intruding. Like it was giving imposter syndrome. But so I finally caved in and I went. And I loved it. Like we had so much fun there, and I ended up like not being able to go to the Black Student Union meetings because I had night class during that time. So I say all this to say you never know who you're gonna meet. I met so many cool people. Even if like you're just attending the club meetings, you still are meeting those people. Then later on, they'll know you, and then you could be like, hey, I want to get more involved. How can I help? And then that's how you get involved more on campus. There's just so many different ways to get involved on campus, I promise. Number 6, try your best to talk to different people. Networking starts at school. So kind of going into my last one, as a film production major, they tell us all the time that even though networking kind of starts like outside of school with like, you know, meeting different people that's higher up in like, you know, the industry, it really does start with the people that you meet at school, because your like classmates and like, you know, the people around you, even if like you never have class with them, those are the people that will eventually like you'll be in the same, you know, not level, but like age range as them, and like you guys will be going off into like your career paths around the same time. So those are the people you want to make friends with, because you know, once you're first starting off and they're first starting off, and then so let's say one of your friends gets their big break first, right, but like before you can kind of, you know, be like, hey, like keep an eye out for me if like there's any open jobs or like anything you need, and they'll be like, yeah girl, I got you. I have friends that are music majors or acting majors that help me with my films by contributing to them, and then I'm helping them by, you know, giving them that, you know, platform. So there's just like so many networking opportunities at school. So just really be open to talking to everyone, because you never know who you're gonna meet. All right, number 7, yes, meet people who have a similar major or have a different major that can benefit you in any way. So that's literally what I just said. That's networking. That's, you know, helping you just to like learn something that you didn't know before. So if you're a health and human science major and you are struggling with learning, I don't know anything about science. Let's say that you're struggling to learn the bones in the hand. I don't know. And you're like, oh my god, like you're a health and human science major. Girl, you know, I've honestly kind of been struggling with learning the bones in the hand. Like, how did you memorize it? Can like you help me? And 9 times out of 10, they're gonna help you. And guess what? They're in your major. What a beautiful love story, guys. Number 8. This is very important. Do not go out and drink on an empty stomach. Don't do it. You don't want to be that person. Like, I promise you, you don't want to be that person. I did not drink at all my freshman year. And I kind of just, I would go to parties sober. I think it's, you know, honestly fun to like pretend to be drunk and, you know, just go to party sober. And then when it's time to, you know, get it together and get everyone in the car, you're, you know, kind of in the right headspace for that. But I witnessed just a lot of like, you know, people not knowing their limits, and it happens a lot freshman year because, you know, you have a lot of freedom and it's just a whole nother, you know, environment and vibe. So people don't really know how to act sometimes and they don't know their limits, and it's just downhill from there. So the one thing I do suggest is that if you are going to explore drinking, anything like that your freshman year, please do not go out to a party and drink or pregame without eating first. Seriously, like it's no joke, because that shit could take you out. Anyway, number 9. So okay, yeah, so I said with that being said, know your limits. If you don't know your limits, I suggest testing them out on campus first in a safe / closed off environment. Don't try it in a party or an unsafe environment. So yeah, LA is still a huge city. There's bad people everywhere. So the last thing you would want to do is to try drinking for the first time, drinking a shit ton, going out somewhere, and you're just meeting like people so you don't even know if they're really going to take care of you for real, which would be terrible, but it happens. And then you end up, you know, who knows? Because sometimes your friends are too fucking drunk, so they don't even realize that you're not okay, and who knows how you're gonna get home. So I say if you're going to drink or test out drinking or see where your limits are at, do that on campus first, but also be careful with that, because if you get caught drinking on campus, your RA can write you up, or just whoever, you know, the campus security, whoever. So just be careful with that, but I would just do it in like a safe environment with people you trust. Or honestly, even trying it before you go to school, so that you are actually with people that you trust, which are your friends. Okay, number 10, invest in a scooter, skateboard, bike, if you are living on a big campus. So if you are on a huge campus, LMU isn't huge, but there's definitely a lot of like hills and just the campus. It's a campus for sure. No, it's like a big circle kind of. So like the longest walk is like maybe 15 minutes, which honestly isn't that bad. But I know a lot of people like got scooters just so that to make it faster for them. Some people, not a lot of people bike, but a lot of people do use scooters and skateboards. So if you are on a huge campus, like I know in my state, Rutgers is huge. I've never been on Rutgers campus, but I hear that you have to take like shuttles to get to some places on your campus. So if you're on a campus like that, I really do suggest like, you know, investing in like a bike or just another form of transportation. Okay, number 11, explore your campus by yourself and find spots you like, places to cry, places to do homework, things like that. So I might make a video about this later on when we get back to school, because I found a lot of like places, you know, where okay, let me explain something to you guys. I learned how to appreciate being alone at school, and just finding those places where it was kind of quiet, or I could just, you know, not be distracted or just be away. Because, you know, it's great being around people, but sometimes it can get tiring and like you just want to be by yourself or just, you know, do whatever. So really exploring your campus, like, you know, and walking around and finding those like little spaces that like nobody really like knows about or that nobody really goes to, I think that's always like a gem. Like, it's just like the best feeling ever to have that space for yourself, that you can like kind of escape to, or just kind of sit and think about your thoughts, or just whenever you're homesick or just tired of people, to kind of, you know, go to those spaces. Number 12, invest in getting study rooms. So I did not invest enough in getting a study room. We have study rooms in my library, and like you just have to like go online and reserve one. I think that like they're honestly like really cool for getting one for like a group of like 2-3 people. For me personally, I cannot study with like a huge group of people because I will not study. I won't do my homework. I will sit there and talk to them the whole time. So I say, like, if you're investing in getting a study room, obviously it's great to like just have one for yourself, and you know, you could just focus if you like a lot of quiet. But I think like just having like 2 or 3 people is enough. And like you guys could just reserve one and just do that, like, you know, once a week or every day if you want to. It doesn't cost anything. And then there's a Starbucks right downstairs, so it works out. So invest in a study room. Number 13, don't be afraid to say no to being around people if you need to lock in. School comes first. So like I said, I'm a type of person that like if I'm in a big group of people and they're like, oh, let's study together, I'm gonna have to be like, I'm sorry, like I can't. That's where I draw a line, because I really cannot study with, I will literally just socialize the whole time. So do not be afraid to say no if like, you know, you need to lock in and get something done, because really at the end of the day, that's actually the main reason you are there. Obviously there's a thin line between like, you know, like your social life and like your education, because it's just like it's so hard to not try to like do both at once. It's a lot. It's you'll get it eventually, but it is something that you have to learn. You know, it's just about self-control, but definitely learning how to say no and learning when to like separate yourself from others to get something done and prioritize your schoolwork. That's huge. 14, so don't be afraid to ask for help. So whether that's tutoring, therapy, the career center, if you have career questions, they're all there. I feel like people forget, and by people I mean myself, but I feel like people forget that there's all these resources on campus that you can like use, which is why our school costs a shit ton of money. It's like, if you're gonna spend that much money on a school, you might as well use the resources that they're providing you with. And I honestly just like was kind of scared to just like, you know, get into all of it. I was just like, oh, like I don't know, guys, I don't know. But do not be afraid to ask for tutoring if you need help. And if you are afraid to ask for tutoring because you're like, oh, like I don't know, like I don't want to, like, you can ask your friends, like I said, but I really think that tutoring is probably like the best thing to invest in if you really, really do not understand something. And like, I didn't get a tutor through the school, but my grandpa tutors me for math, and I had math second semester. But I made sure to let him know that like I was struggling. Like, do not pretend like you're not struggling in a subject, because then that's going to affect your GPA. Like, you really have to be on top of those things and be a big girl or a big boy and say something when you're struggling. Because I promise you, if you don't, and then once there's only 2 weeks left in the semester and you're like, then that's when you realize you're like, oh shit, I'm struggling and I need help. It's kind of too late to like, you know. But hey, that's just me, y'all. That's just me. And then therapy, I will be investing in getting a campus therapist this upcoming semester. Because, come on. Like, let's be so for real. Number 15, make sure you have easy access to any snacks you buy or you'll forget about them or that they're under your bed. So my snacks were like under my bed, like all the way in the back and like on the bottom of like, no, actually on the top, but like you had to like pull them out. And honestly, a lot of the times I would forget that they're under there. So then I would just never eat my snacks. And then like, that's how like one, food goes bad, and then two, once you're at the end of the year, those snacks that last that long, you have to throw them out, because like if you're out of state, you can't bring them back home with you. Well, I mean, you could, but so you have to like throw those out. So invest in like getting like a pull-out drawer instead, like something where like you have easy access to your snacks, because literally pulling out a bin like in the depths, like the deep depths of your bed is just, it's so annoying. So I don't suggest doing that. 16, participate in class and talk to your professors. It helps when you are struggling. I cannot stress this enough, guys. I cannot stress this enough. The one thing that I always make sure I do is to, one, talk to my professors, and two, participate. Like, even if like your answer is wrong, it does not fucking matter. Like, even if like you're just repeating what someone else said but just making it sound smarter, participate in class. Like, that is going to be your saving grace later on in the semester if you don't understand something, or you're struggling, or you're falling behind. If your professor likes you or just like knows that you're trying, and you reach out to them and you email them and you take the time out of your day to make sure that you are connecting with them, and you know that they notice you and they see you, it will save your grade. I'll give you two examples. One, with the talking to your professors, I had a really good relationship with my film prod professor first semester. I participated all the time. I made sure that I was on top of everything. I was helping my other classmates. I was talking to him, asking him about his projects, telling him about stuff that I was doing, what I wanted to do, what I was up to. He helped me get in touch with a Black female director that was in the industry already. Because one, I was the only Black woman in my class. That meant a lot to me. Like, I loved him tremendously. I was like, wow, like, you see me, I see you, we see each other. Like, he knew how much work I was putting in, to the point where he took the time to reach out to somebody he knew, so that I could talk to them about, you know, any questions I had. So that's one example. The other example would be, second semester, I made the dumbest decision, and I might have it on here. No, I don't. So let me talk about this. I made the dumbest decision of my life by taking a 6:30, I think it was 6 to 9 or 6:30 to 9 theology class, because I go to a Jesuit school. And I was like, oh, like, it's gonna be fine, because like I've done night classes first semester. My film production class was a night class, and my screenwriting class was a night class. But what I failed to realize is that those were actually classes that I wanted to take and that I was interested in taking, and the material was interesting, so I wasn't falling asleep in class. But the theology class on the Old Testament, let's just say I was struggling. I barely paid attention in class, but I always participated. Always. Like, I always asked him questions. Like, because there was a lot of people in there. Like, nobody wants to be in that class. Everyone was so bored. So there was a lot of people that just would not participate. And like, he would like, the more that people didn't participate, the more he would just talk and talk and talk and talk. So participating and asking him questions, and just like, it was also easier for me to participate because I went to a Catholic school, so I would just bring up random stuff that I learned from school, and I'd just be like, oh yeah, like, I remember da-da-da, or like, da-da-da-da-da-da, like, they say da-da-da. And like, he just liked me, or like, even if he didn't like me, he knew I participated. So when it came to the end of the semester, when I was falling behind, and I told him, I said, hey, listen, I'm sorry, but I'm falling behind. He said, honestly, don't even worry about it, because I know you participate. So as long as you get it into me, the day that, like, you know, grades are final, that's fine. And I said, God bless. But if I hadn't participated and I just, you know, was in the back on my computer, which I did do, but I made sure to occasionally raise my hand. But if I did not participate at all, he would have been like, well, bitch, no, get it together, because you don't participate anyway, so clearly you don't take my class seriously. Sorry, I had to rant a little bit because that's just very important. But also, just going off of that, do not sign up for a night class if it's not something that's interesting. I promise you, you'll regret it. It's just not worth it. If it's only worth it if it's something that's interesting. So if you're a film production major, I 100% guarantee taking a night class. I loved it so much. If it's just like a core curriculum class, do not do that to yourself. Don't. Anyway, number 17. Try your best to split your big essays up by days. Procrastination only gets worse in college. Yeah, so I definitely started to like always leave essays for like the day before they were due. And like, we're not talking like 1-2 page essays, we're talking like 5-page papers. Yeah, so it really does help to split it up, like by page, which honestly, like, I can't even like sit here and tell you that I'm gonna do that myself, because it just always turns out that I do it a day or two before or the morning of. So, but just, you know, it does help to split your pages up so that you're not doing it all at the last minute. Procrastination does not go away in college. It only gets worse. Just saying. 18. Pick the right crowd. If you do pick the wrong crowd, know when to leave them. So this happens to all of us. We're still learning about other people. There's a whole bunch of people around you, new environment, all that stuff. You're learning new things, doing new things, all that stuff. You have all this freedom. But the one thing that I do suggest is that even if like you don't end up picking the quote unquote right crowd and you end up with the wrong crowd, know when to leave. Like if you notice a pattern of, you know, they're only drinking and they're drinking every day, like they're day drinking, they're trying to force you to drink all the time or do drugs or anything like that, baby, you need to leave. Like, you need to find new friends, because like that's insane. Like, no. So just be careful with things like that, and that goes back to like one of the first things I said was trust. You cannot trust everyone. So really just be careful. Like, that is one of the main things at school. 19, get a job on campus, apply right away. Do not wait till the last minute. I could not get a job on campus because I waited until the last minute, and then everything was just going so quickly, and then by the time I kind of actually understood how to get a job, I just like was applying and nobody was getting back to me. So number 1, I suggest applying right away. Number 2, if you are not getting a response from someone, you are literally 2 steps away, maybe 50 steps away from like walking to the building and going into where you want to apply and just talking to them. I think that that's just like, you know, being proactive, and they see that you really want the job. So that's my suggestion for that. But definitely get a job on campus, especially if you signed up for like work study, because I signed up for work study and then I couldn't get a job. So, you know, but got a job this semester, so yay! But I literally applied at the end of the school year. As soon as they were like, oh, job open for next semester, I said, yeah, I'm applying now. So just, you know, keep your eye open for jobs. And again, sometimes going back to networking, you meet certain like professors or just people that work on campus, and they can hook you up with a job. So 20, it's okay to not do as much as you did in high school, or to take your first year to get adjusted. So I kind of already talked about this, but I didn't do a lot this past year. I kind of just wanted to get a vibe and a sense of like everything around me and see how things work and how people participate and do all those things. So it is okay If you're somebody that, you know, did a lot in your high school, I mean, for me, like, I was class president, like, I was in charge of, like, doing, like, film stuff for my school, like, I was, you know, in the drama club, I started a film club, like, I did all that, like, stuff in high school, and I was the same way in middle school, too. It's just, so it does feel like a little bit of an imposter syndrome, because you're like, oh, I'm not doing as much as, like, you know, I'm used to, but I promise, focus on your grades, because it's really gonna mean a lot for you to kind of have your GPA up as much as you can possibly get it, so that if you do start to struggle a little bit in your upcoming years, like sophomore, junior, senior year, your GPA won't be as low if you had already gotten it really low freshman year, if that makes sense. Okay, so 21, can you do something? Freshman flu. I cannot stress this enough, y'all. Like, I literally cannot stress this enough. The freshman flu took me the fuck out. I thought it was a myth. It's not a myth. You will get sick your freshman year. And even if you are from a different area, that new environment, that new air, it's gonna take you out even more. I literally could not, like, my throat hurt so bad, I couldn't swallow anything for 2 weeks. I was struggling, bro. Like, the freshman flu will take you the fuck out. So you need to make sure when you get to campus that you stock up on NyQuil, on cough drops, on every single freaking medicine you could think of. I'm not playing around. It's bad, bro. It's so bad. It's so freaking bad. Oh my God. No, like, I'm so scared of, like, getting sick again, because I used to, like, not get that sick. When I got to college, I got sick every month. But, like, the first initial freshman flu was the worst ever. Like, I've had COVID before, and I think that, like, it was, like, right here with COVID. Oh my gosh, it's terrible. Like, that's gonna be the one thing that's gonna make you want to go home. You're gonna be like, please, where's my mommy? Like, I can't. Like, cause you have to take care of yourself. Like, it's bad. And then, like, having to, like, hop out of those high ass beds as your, like, body is weak as fuck, and, like, the room is spinning. Oh, guys, freshman flu is no fucking joke. Okay, and lastly, because I do have to go to work, but lastly, be yourself. Please do not change who you are. Do not change, you know, the things that you grew up knowing. If you're from Jersey, don't change that about yourself. Like, do not change for these freaking people. Do not change yourself. Be yourself. I promise people are gonna love you for who you are, and if they don't, fuck them. But yeah, that is all my advice for you guys. I am trying my best to make more college content, because I get questions all the time from you guys, which I love, and I just want to be able to answer those questions for you guys. So if you guys have any questions just in regards to anything I said in this video, leave a comment down below, or you can even reach out to me on Instagram, DM me. I'm all open for questions. But I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!